got my zombies mostly behind me, although there might be another zombie story. I mean, we'll see. I'm always curious, in such a crowded marketplace, how do you find a new angle on zombies? What's your take on zombies?
It's a good question. I'm not a zombie person. I'm not a particularly a sci-fi guy or a horror guy. I honestly can say I don't watch Walking Dead.
I don't anymore now that Rick and Carl are dead. Forget it.
Yeah, I do follow the death tally to some degree, but I haven't really been an active watcher of the show. But I wanted to write. I guess I started with an idea of a misplaced zombie boy trying to get through the typical middle school experience. It started with I think I started with the premise of the ultimate outsider, and I just wanted to push the envelope on the outsider a little bit. And I came up with a name, Arnold B. Zombie, which was his original name, which has since changed a little bit to Arnold Z. Zombie after many discussions with my editors. And I just had an idea of plopping 10 or 11-year-old zombie down in a typical 4th grade or 5th grade situation and see what would happen, because I didn't want to follow particularly kind of the zombie tropes and the zombie rules that are out there, which I know exist, obviously, and there's a huge, and I did enough research to know that there is kind of accepted and unaccepted behavioral traits of zombies. I kind of wanted to invent some zombie rules of my own, and I got away with doing that by making the premise that the government, the U.S., that takes place slightly in the future, and the U.S. government has invented a race of zombies under this super secret Project Z that they are originally training to attack the United States, because the powers that be have decided that our country has become so fractured that we need to manufacture a common enemy, because the only thing that can bring us back together, that can unite the country, is having a threat to us all. And that's what these zombies are that's what these zombies are being created to do. And so this lab has been developed this lab has been established to develop this line of zombies. And some people who work there are disgruntled and not happy with this plan. And so they help a group of zombies escape. And all are captured except this one little boy who makes his way out to the road ultimately and is saved by this family. I don't want to say too much or get too bogged down, but this family is also connected. The mother is connected to the lab too, and she has kind of helped him escape. And so they take him in and try to pass him off as a human boy, and kind of train him in the ways of human 4th grade human behavior. And so there's a lot of there's no real typical zombie horror in this book. It's much more kind of comical, the ultimate fish out of water story. But hopefully it's also a little bit heartfelt and a little bit about how people with extreme differences all have much more in common than we might think. And as a result, in this day and age where people are a little bit more suspicious of the other than ever before, that aspect of the story hopefully will resonate with kids, even if they don't necessarily realize it.
And also, taken straight from the headlines, the idea of our government trying to gin up a terrifying enemy. Not that anyone would ever do that. I'm sure there are terrifying caravans headed toward us right as we speak.
Yeah, it's kind of the ultimate immigrant story, I guess. The last thing I want to do is be heavy-handed when I describe what this book is about, or in the writing of it, because I don't want to be just another guy, writing a metaphor about what's happening in the world today. But at the same time, I think there's a world in which believe it or not, a fourth grade or a fifth grade community and culture can reflect what's happening in the world, the country at large, in its own way. A fifth grade class is a microcosm of everything else. So why
the
not?
story is coming through you, the artist, right? And you live in the world. You can't
Yeah,
help but be a little bit impacted by it.
absolutely, absolutely. And so I keep all my moralistic messaging to a minimum, hopefully, and I keep it with a light touch. But so I guess I can't help myself and stick a little bit in there about what I wish society was like. And so if I can make my fifth grade universe that way, maybe that's my way of addressing it.
Well, my hat's off to you, sir. I once started to write a middle grade zombie story, and I think it was chapter 3. They come across an overturned car with 2 zombies stuck in it, and there's a car seat in the back, the straps of which have been chewed through, and it's bloody and grizzled. I wrote that and was like, this is a young adult novel. This is not middle grade. That's over.
Yeah, it's funny. When I first started the zombie book, Project Z, I thought it was actually going to be a chapter, like an early reader or a chapter book. I kind of intended it to be even for a slightly younger audience than it ended up being for. That was a conversation with myself and my editor kind of resulted in me aging it back up a little bit to middle grade. But I would say that the Project Z audience is probably slightly younger middle grade than the Charlie Joe Jackson audience, if I had to guess. And maybe